Hello everybody and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary. It is still Irish Whiskey Month and we just came from the gold spot. We're going to start into the Bushmills 12. Now why did I pick Bushmills? Well, I feel like Bushmills is just a very iconic brand. You know, they claim to be the oldest Irish whiskey distillery, which may or may not be true. There does seem to be some backing because King George I actually granted a license to distill whiskey on the property back in 1608. However, there was no evidence that any of that actually happened until the early 1700s, and more specifically about 27 years after Kilbeggan started doing it in Ireland. So either they're the oldest or they're really, really close. Either way, it doesn't matter. But that's why you're going to see 1608 on all of these Bushmills bottles. Like, they definitely hold on to that, and they should, because it's a cool thing. I mean, one way or another, they've been around for 400 years. That's pretty awesome. You may have heard that Bushmills had kind of a rough year last year. They ended up going from about $43 million in sales down to about $31 million, which obviously pretty big hit. But the cool thing about that, if there is a bright side, is that they now have older stock. They didn't sell quite as much. They did, however, sell quite a bit of Proper 12. But if you think about their other real expressions, like their white, their black, their red, the red's okay. But the black is really good. The white is like fairly good. I mean, it's very popular. But if you think about those things, that's fine. They're going to keep making those. But what they have is all this older stock, which gives them this ability to do cool things like really old expression releases, or possibly, honestly, just doing something else like Proper 12 with another celebrity, where, I mean, you can't argue, even though it's not good, you can't argue with its success. You know, it just did well. So anyway, let's talk about Bushmills 12. First introduced in 2007, the single malt Irish whiskey was triple distilled. It's only 40% ABV. But what's cool about the way that they age it here is it spends 11 years, so just regular Bushmills, right? It spends 11 years in ex-bourbon barrel. Another set of it spends 11 years in an ex-oloroso sherry barrel. And then they marry those two together, put them into an ex-marsala wine barrel, and then that's aged for or matured for about 9 months, and that gets you right about to that 12-year mark. So this is a pretty interesting whiskey. So this at $55, just thinking about all of that feels like it's getting worth it. You know, a triple wood, triple distilled is going to not only drink very smooth, but have a lot to discover. Now, when we're talking about discovering, let's go ahead and get into the nosing and tasting. So the nose here is interesting in a lot of ways. So first things first, keep in mind this is a 40% whiskey, so everything you get is gonna smell watered down. But to a lot of people who are learning how to do this, it is way better to try on a 40% because you can inhale deeply, it's natural, it just helps, and as you're tasting it, it's not gonna burn so much. You're gonna have that evaporating on your tongue, you're gonna be able to take your time with it and just relax and enjoy it, and it will help you get some stuff out of it. So let's talk about what we do get. On the nose, easy peasy, right? Like, you got the ex-bourbon thing. So you got vanilla, you got honey, you've got oak. I think that's about it for the nose, but then you've got other stuff from the Oloroso and the Marsala. And in my case, I'm getting kind of like a green apple, but I'm on the fence here. It tastes to me like green apple, but also peach. So those are very different flavors. And I attribute that to the watered down, the 40%. It's not very vividly one or the other. So I'm going to say like a general kind of orchard fruit, like pears, apple, peaches, any of those things would be totally reasonable to taste in this. Aside from that, vanilla, I don't know if I said that, but it's mostly the ex-bourbon. In fact, the Marsala doesn't come through nearly as much as I was hoping it would. It really just tastes like an ex-oloroso sherry finished whiskey of some sort at 40%. All right, let's go ahead and taste this. Cheers. Okay. Not bad. So here's what's cool about this whiskey. Super, super drinkable, right? Just very, very easy to drink. It is, like I feel like if you put an ice cube in here, it would just disappear, which isn't necessarily a good thing. But in this case, it fits the vibe. Like, I sip this and I think about just kind of like, just sit, relax, but it's not sitting at a table like, oh, what do I smell? What do I taste? It's more like chill. I might even put like ice cubes in this. Like this is just a relaxing beverage. So as far as the taste goes, very much ex-bourbon barrel. Again, you're getting vanilla pretty heavily, as far as heavy could be here. Oak for sure. Honey, definitely. Then to me, that apple is kind of coming out a little bit more like a green apple at this point. Strawberries showing up, which is interesting, but kind of speaks to the Marsala to me. At least that's something I tend to pick up in Marsalas. Admittedly, I've only had like 4 or 5 of them, but strawberry seems to come up. In Oloroso as well. As far as other flavors here, there's kind of like a weird cereal grain thing going on, almost like cornflakes or like Cheerios or the Lucky Charms without the marshmallows. Well, Lucky Charms doesn't come without marshmallows, but the junk part of the cereal that's not the marshmallow pieces. Anyway, all right. So as far as flavor goes, there's not a whole lot to discover here, but there could be. If you spend a little bit more time on this, you are probably gonna pick out a little bit more of that Marsala Oloroso, but the bourbon, ex-bourbon, is really heavily obscuring a lot of those flavors. So something to keep in mind. Let's kind of go overall. So I think I'm on the fence about this one, and I'm curious what you guys think. If you've had the Bushmills 12 before, let me know what you think in the comments. But I feel like if I were to actually rate this, it would be like a buy it minus. Like it's just barely over the line of try it and buy it. And the reason it went there, I do think $55 is just a hair too much for this. But then when I consider how much it does, it's 12 years old, it's in line with other things in the space, so it's not a problem that it's 55. Like realistically, if it was 45, that would feel too low. So I don't know, whatever. 55 is not a big deal. But what I'm really stuck on is this isn't for me, at least not in my mind. This is for somebody who really enjoys white bush, black bush, red bush, even the 10 maybe, and wants to expand a little bit into some of the higher offerings. Because I think I said earlier, this is kind of like an entry point to the like 16 and the 21. It's showing you what this can do when it's exposed to X wine of some sort, barrels. And I think it's cool. You know, I like this one. I'm going to sip this very easily. I'm going to probably finish this bottle a lot quicker than some of the other ones that are sitting on my shelves that have enthusiastically gotten to buy it. And I think just for that reason alone, it's going to stay as a buy it. So let me know what you guys all think. And just real quick, let me know what you think about Irish Whiskey Month. Are you joining me for Irish Whiskey Month? Is March just kind of like I'm dead to you during March? I know not everybody loves Irish whiskey, but you should, because there's a lot of really good stuff here. If there's an Irish whiskey that you really want me to review, leave it down in the comments, because I do have my other couple planned out for this month, but I'd be willing to maybe fit an extra one in there if something was really sparking my interest. But let me know what you want me to review. You know, there's the rest of the year too. All right, have a great rest of your day, everybody, and I hope you have, yeah. Boy, when you have a sign off, it really is just automatic. I hope you have a great rest of your day, everybody. Cheers.